All right. Hello, my book marketing gurus. That's what you are by now, right? We are talking today about how to market a modern book, okay? We're talking modern technology. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm self-admittedly in this club. I have not always been a fan of the online world. I like to write letters. I like pens and notebooks. I can be kind of old school in some ways. And so if you are like me and you have been living in a cave for the past 15, 20 years and don't know that it's not, the 1980s or 90s anymore, let's have a discussion about some modern technologies and platforms that you can focus on to help market your book. Now, I'm not going to give you the more obvious places, but we will touch on some things that you're most likely already familiar with, even if you have been living in a cave. But think about the sheer number of podcasts out there that touch on any number of topics, including simply just writing a book. There are so many podcasts that I would urge you to just do some research on something that sounds relevant to you, either as an author, as a human, as someone who has certain interests that touch on your book or the topic of your actual book. Maybe there's a self-publishing podcast that you've been listening to that features recently published authors. Even if you're not necessarily speaking directly to your audience, they've signed up for a particular reason. And if you are selected as a guest on a podcast, the hosts are probably going to have already assessed your value for their readership or their listenership. So definitely look into what podcasts might be available for you to guest appear on. Now, you may have already tapped into this community, or maybe you haven't, but I'm sure you understand what Instagram is. It's a social media platform that focuses mainly on captivating images. But there are people called bookstagrammers. Do you know what that is? It's people who love books that hang out on Instagram. Specifically, these are like a community of book reviewers. Sometimes they are specific in more of like a genre like fiction or historical fiction or whatever, romance novels. Sometimes they are a little broader. There's different feels for every single one. So you may have an in if you maybe have a great cover design or have a book on a topic that appeals to a specific bookstagrammer. There's also YouTube booktubers or I think they're called booktubers. Anyway, you can yourself get on YouTube and like make little funny videos of you writing and failing or like opening your first book or signing your first. I mean, you can make YouTube videos, throw them on YouTube and utilize them elsewhere, okay? These don't have to be like serious videos on lessons you can give to your readers about things. They can just be you being silly, being goofy. It doesn't matter. It can be you. I follow someone who she watches TikTok videos, but then records herself like next to the TikTok videos, like reacting to it just, people are so creative these days. So don't be afraid to play around if you feel like you're going to be able to reach people. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I did not mention Facebook groups. You're in one, so you understand. Most likely you're in a couple, or maybe a couple dozen. That's okay. There's a Facebook group for just about anything, so I encourage you to spend some time just digging around on Facebook, trying to find groups that might be interesting for you to gather intel, reach readers, or some other, for example, maybe there's an entrepreneur group for women, and if you run your own business, you can connect with people there and maybe make some more connections that might lead to more organic conversations about your book. Who knows? Just think creatively, and it doesn't have to be a direct route. It can be, 2-3 degrees removed. then you can check out something that we like to call Reddit. I don't know if you've heard of this place, Reddit. I'm a fan of Reddit. I could probably get lost on Reddit for many days, but specifically where authors can find some, a little area that will allow them to give value or promote are the AMAs, Ask Me Anythings. Usually, this is again a little bit more for like fiction or maybe more of a nonfiction, like expert based book, but it would really be a great fit for many memoirs that I've seen. Think about it. I mean, if someone's asking you a question or, you have people wanting to know some things about you or about your book, that's a great place to kind of get some exposure or just hang out. You just go on there and check it out. See if you can find an author you're familiar with, or maybe a book you just read, or whatever. See what you can find out, and get the feel for it, and see if it'll be a good fit. But it's just one of those places that exist, and you just have to figure out how to maneuver it. Also, think about Twitter. I mean, there are so many little nooks and crannies floating around Twitter. You can provide little blurbs from your book, little clips or quotes or whatever. You can talk about the writing process. Oh my gosh, there are so many threads about, works in progress and, writing or whatever. Like, there is just so many things out there that it depends on kind of the area you want to be in. But if you're connecting with other authors, if you're connecting with other writers, other memoirists, other people writing in your area or not, you are still making connections. So just understand there is a place for you to give value and a place for you to get value. And these are good promotional places once you are making those connections, making yourself part of the community. You typically don't just like jump into these things willy-nilly, just like any other area you want to promote your book in. You have to be kind of mindful and apply the strategy that we talked about in one of my previous videos. And then, last but not least, let's not forget a place called Goodreads. Have you ever been on Goodreads? It's like just a super robust review platform. It's kind of like a social media for book lovers. Like they get on there and they get to readers review books. You get to find new books. You get to interact with your favorite authors. It can be a very lucrative place as far as just making those connections. But once you're on Goodreads, if you spend time on there as an author and making connections, and if you can get some reviews and all of that jazz, you're getting some reviews that are outside of the platform of Amazon where books seem to live or die. So this is just another place for you to spend time on. And if you're already on Goodreads, or if you visited as a reader just looking for some books, I've done tons of research on there when I'm trying to find specific books in specific areas, like a children's book on a particular topic with a talking dog or whatever it is. I've spent some time on there, and it can be a really valuable place to just jump on there, connect, see what you can get out of it. But I want you to start thinking a little far and wide. So these are some more modern places that the hip cool kids are hanging out, and you're one of them. If you're writing a book, you're a hip cool kid, and I want you to get out there and just pretend like you know what you're doing. Get out there, be new, make mistakes, and get modernized. I'll be with you. I'm not in love with it either, but we'll just do it together. Or you can make friends who teach you how to use your iPhone and explain to you what those little blue bubbles are. So either way, you're going to get out there. You're going to be in the right place, and someone will explain the technology to you as you go. Okay? So come back for my next video when we continue this discussion. Specifically, we are going to start talking about marketing in particular areas, email, social media. We're going to go into a little deeper. And then we're going to start talking about this thing called like a book launch. What's that? Like, what is this thing? And what do you need to know about it? So I will see you in some more videos, right?